So hey folks, and welcome back to another video. And on today's ride we're actually out on the 2022 Triumph Street Scrambler Gold Line Edition. Now this bike comes in the awesome Pacific Blue, the matte paint scheme, and gold hand painted pinstripe. We're just going to give you a quick walk around. We've done a review on the Street Scrambler before, so we'll just run through a few things about this bike and then we'll head out and take you for a nice ride, tell you what it's all about. So welcome back, and as you can see behind me we've got the Street Scrambler Gold Line Edition with that paint scheme. I'm going to take you through a few specs of this bike, but if you haven't seen our review on the Street Scrambler, then I'll pop a link to it in the top right hand corner just here. Have a look at that, and there we go through the full specs and a full ride review. Okay, so new for 2022 is the Gold Line Edition of the Street Scrambler. And with that you get the awesome hand-painted Gold Line paint scheme. So on here you've got a Pacific matte blue, and as you can see on the side just here you've got brushed aluminium and also surrounded by the Gold Line pinstripe. You've also got a grey stripe on the tank with the hand-painted Gold Line and Gold Line written in the tank just there. The bike comes with matte black mudguards front and also rear, and then a matte black side panel, and the writing is in the same colour as the hand painted Gold Line, which is really nice. You've got a nice Triumph emblem there and Street Scrambler on the side. Now if you were to buy the standard Street Scrambler, price wise it's £9,559, and with that you can choose either the jet black, the khaki or the urban grey colour. Also you can buy this bike in a Sandstorm edition, which is a special, and that's £10,100, and the version you see just here, the Gold Line edition, is £10,195. Now we've just come off the Triumph Bonneville T100 Gold Line edition, and these engines share some componentry which are the same. The main one is the 900cc high torque engine and frame. But yeah, it feels the bike is very different. The seating is very different. Obviously you've got this plush seat on here which is a little bit firmer than the T100, and I much prefer this seat. The bars are a little bit higher, raised, with it being a scrambler, and also I think the gearing is different on this bike. So the rear sprocket, front sprocket may be a little bit different because it does feel more torquey. It might have a different throttle map. I know you've got road and rain modes on this bike, but it does feel more nimble, agile, like the description says, Street Scrambler. It really is a lovely bike. You can roar around the lanes or in an urban area. Now the engine on the bike is a 900cc liquid cooled. As I say, it shares the same engine as the T100. It's got a 270 degree crank which pushes out 64.1 brake horsepower at 7,250 RPM. And also 80 newton meters of torque at 3,250 RPM. So a very torquey motor low down. It still comes with the 5-speed gearbox that you've got on the T100, and the seat height is the same as the T100, being 790 millimeters. The tank on the bike is 12 litres, giving 4.3 litres per 100 kilometers, and that will give you probably a range of about 190 to 200 miles and about 68 miles per gallon. Weight of the bike comes in at 223 kilograms. The tyres that they've put on this bike are Metzeler Tourance tyres, and these are on spoked wheels. These are tubed tyres, by the way. One thing I wish that Triumph would do would be go tubeless on these type of things, but it's difficult to do when you've got centre spokes like that. You've got a 100 tyre on the front, and then on the back you've got a 150 tyre. You have on the back a 225mm disc, and that's on Nissan 2-piston caliper. On the front you've got the Brembo 4-piston caliper, and that's on a single-sided 310mm disc, and also you've got ABS. The rear suspension, I'll show you this side because it's preload adjustable only. Twin shocks on the rear, they're the ones tucked in behind the exhaust pipe just here. The exhaust does have some heat shields on it, Today's about 20 degrees and I'm not feeling any heat through this, although when I get back into town, sitting in traffic I might do. But yeah, it's not causing an issue, certainly not in England, it's not hot enough. Like the T100, you've got the bulbed headlight at the front with bulb indicators front and rear, and you've got a LED rear tail light. You also get on this bike a sump guard bash plate. This one is plastic, but you can get aftermarket metal ones. Also the foot pegs are geared up more towards the off-road. They've got rubber inserts that you can actually remove. Forks on the bike, non-adjustable on the front. You've got 41mm forks, and I do like that it has the gaiters on. I wish they would put these on the T100 also. Water-cooled engine, radiator up front there. Okay, so you have higher bars, which is nice if you want to stand up on the pegs. If you're going off-road, they're also adjustable slightly forward and back if you want to do the clamp just here. It does have two rider modes, so switch gear, you've got an information button for the LCD on the dash, you've got a mode button, road and rain, horn, indicators, lights, high and low beam. It does have also a clutch lever which is fully adjustable, and also a fully adjustable brake lever, which I think all bikes should have, so that you can customize them to your hand span, which is also a good idea. Black stalked mirrors, which are the same but black and not chrome that you get on the T100. The clocks on the bike, you've got a nice big single clock that gives you miles per hour. You've got an electronic LCD display which you can toggle through, and that will give you traction control on and off. You can turn it off. Fuel gauge. What else have you got? Actual miles, trip meters, clock. You've also got the rev counter, and also it tells you how many miles you've got left in a tank before you run out, which is a good feature. So pretty plain, pretty straightforward, which is quite nice to have. And not too many rider aids as well, so it's great. Just ABS and traction control on and off on this bike. Lockable fuel cap, as all Triumphs come with. It's got a number board just on the side there. Rear passenger foot pegs as well. Rear seat for a passenger is quite small. I think if it was mine, I would put the rear rack on that section so you can pop a Krieger luggage set on or something like that. But yeah, tell me what you think of the Street Scrambler Gold Line edition. Okay, let's get back on it and take you for a ride, and I'll let you know what I think of this bike. So, how does the bike ride? Well, it certainly feels more nimble than the T100 I've just gotten off, and that is the same engine. I would say definitely the gearing, the sprockets are maybe a little bit different, and maybe the throttle map, because this bike does have road and rain mode, and it just feels more nimble. I think if you were to ask about ride and how it makes you feel, this certainly is, if I can say, more sporty than the Bonneville. Certainly feels more flickable. It's not called the Street Scrambler for no reason, and it really is a pleasure to ride. And I didn't think I'd say it, because I've been riding Bonnevilles from Triumph, and also we've had the Street Scrambler on before, but I didn't ride back to back, as in get off the T100 straight onto this. And when you ride back to back, you feel it more, rather than having a few weeks in between riding different bikes. So having ridden back to back, definitely I would pick this one over the T100. And if you like a little bit more spirited riding, then this would be the one to go for if you're looking for something with a 900cc engine. And also don't forget, you can get an A2 compliant kit for this as well. So if you're a new rider, definitely this would be the bike I would pick. So not only does it look cool, but you feel cool while riding it, and that's how, well, one of the things that you want on a bike. You want it to look good and you want to feel good riding it. So Yeah, I really dig this colour, by the way. I'm not a lover of matte bikes, matte paint schemes, but this Pacific blue is one of my favourites. I have a lot of favourites, don't I, with Triumphs. But really, I mean, over the last, I would say, 12 months, I've ridden every bike in the range except for the new Tiger 1200 and also the Speed Triple RR, which is coming in July. So that's coming, followed by the Tiger. Now, while she rides well, she also sounds well too. The riding position on the bike is really comfy. The seat, with it being slightly firmer than the T100, I actually prefer, because you don't sink into it and then you don't feel any hot spots. So yeah, I much prefer the firmer seat on the Scrambler. Also, with the higher bars, your arms are just stretched out in front of you. Nice comfy seating position. And like I said, not feeling any heat from that high-rise exhaust. All is good. My legs are pretty comfy, not too much of a bend at the knee. I'm 6'2", and also I weigh about 95 kilo. And the suspension feels pretty good actually for a out the showroom bike. Doesn't need too much doing to it. Maybe a tad of preload in the rear shock. The front's non-adjustable, but that feels pretty good to me. Now, I mentioned on the T100, with it only having 5 gears, obviously it's geared differently, must be to this bike. So I actually find the gearing a lot better on this bike. And through villages and towns, the throttle is really smooth, even in road mode. I think you have to stop actually to change the modes. Let me see. Yeah, it's flashing, so I'll just pull over here, pull my clutch in, and try it again. Yeah. Okay, so you have to be stopped. And that's in rain. Let's see how the throttle. Oh yeah, a lot smoother on the throttle. Just helps when you're riding in wet weather. But I think if you were riding in town, certainly the throttle action is a lot more smoother in rain mode. So yeah, interesting. Super smooth. I think fuel injected bikes are getting far better. They used to be really choppy on the throttle, on and off. But Triumph, actually on all of the Triumph range, especially the Bonnevilles, they've really got the throttle action really nice, and I probably that's due to the parallel twin engine. But what I also love is the torque assist clutch that these bikes come with. The clutch is one of the easiest to pull in on any bikes I've ridden, really. So yeah, all in all, the Street Scrambler is a cracking little bike. It would make a awesome first bike. An awesome commuter for sure. Like I say, take the seat off the back and pop the rack on, stick some luggage on there, or throw a rucksack on your back. Now, I do like the twin clocks on the Bonnevilles, but I don't think this bike needs it. Single speedo, a little bit of a digital flavour to it, and it's quite nice. I think negatives on the bike, a lot of people question on the Bonneville range of late with them having no centre stand. Personally, it doesn't bother me. It would on the Bonnevilles, because you've literally got to take the right hand side exhaust off to adjust the chain or loosen the rear wheel up, whereas with the high exhaust on here, it's easily accessible, and you can always use a paddock stand. I think you can get them as an accessory, but I think they just don't put them on to keep the weight down a little bit. So that's something that people might like. Indicators, well, you can get aftermarket LED ones if you want LED indicators. Personally, I like the Bonneville standard bulb headlight, non-LED, slight tint of yellow, in keeping with that classic look. I do love the switch gear on the bike. It's very tactile, very easy to use. Now, I'm not sure if you can get a cruise control. I don't know why you would want it on this bike, really, because it's not the sort of bike you're going to go on a long trip. Maybe a camping or a weekender, but you wouldn't go touring on this bike. It's not made for that. Would I have one? Yes, I would love one as a second bike in the garage. I don't think it's a do-it-all bike. It's certainly a real looker. And I think the modern day classics now are really in the last 2 years. Triumph have done really well on sales on the Bonneville range. The other niggle I have with these bikes is no tubeless tyres. If you were to get caught out, you can't repair them that easy at the side of the road. So that would be my biggest gripe, really, with them, is just the having tubed tyres. I would much prefer tubeless. But yeah, what a sweet bike. That's all for now, folks, and like I say, if you've missed the full review of this Street Scrambler, then head into the playlist. We have a Triumph playlist on the channel where all the first rides and last rides and final thoughts videos are kept, or I'll again just put in the right hand corner just here a link to our first ride and review of this motorcycle. We've got this bike for a couple of weeks, so we'll be doing some coffee and cake runs on it over a weekend and stuff, so you'll see it again on the channel. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, then hit that subscribe button, ding that bell for future videos coming up. And also, if you've not followed us on Instagram, we're over there, and link in the bottom left hand corner just here, and that's MotoUK_. Check us out on there, and we'll catch you on another video soon, guys. Take care. Cheers.